So let's begin with Zima Alter. Let's not even wait. I know that you're here for this fucking reason. I know you clicked on this stream just because Zima Alter is in the title. My therapist told me that I should turn my anger into good things. I should be productive with my anger. I should transmute it into something positive for the community. Let me begin this segment by immediately stating that this is not really about Zima Alter. What I'm going to discuss here is not even really about Zima Alter. This is about Operator Records. This is my manifesto against Operator Records, and Zima Alter will be used as the contextual framework as to why Operator Records are being brought up. Operator Records are these little side stories that are usually self-contained. What will they have inside, usually? For example, sometimes you just get a little comedy skit. You get a pop team epic skit with Arknights operators. For example, the Click operator record or the Jaye operator record are like this. Other times, operator records are an epilogue to the main event. So for example, Fiammetta's operator record is an epilogue to Guide Ahead. However, if your lineage is cursed, if you've angered an ancient witch in a past lifetime, it will happen that your favorite operator has an operator record that is extremely important to their character, where they do character progression, character arcs, they establish shit for the lore, which is insane. Why is this insane? Why should this kind of story not be put in an operator record? Because it is extremely obfuscated. First of all, you need to own the operator, then you need to level them up to like E2 level 60 to get all the operator records, which means there is 2 steps, one of which is entirely luck dependent, to have you get the operator records. When it comes to the Ursus students, for some fucking reason, Hypergriff has elected that they will expand their characters, they will conclude their character arcs in the operator records. And this is true for basically all of them. First off, we have the Leto operator record. This is an entirely self-contained story that doesn't really connect to anything. So this one is entirely fine. Even with Zima Alter now coming out, it doesn't get affected in any way. It's basically just Leto fucking around with her mother. Then we have the Rosa operator record. In this operator record, this is where all of her character arc happens. Rosa's character arc is entirely contained in this operator record. Basically, it shows her coming to terms with the fact she was a noble, with the fact that she enjoys her new life where she has to work to earn things. She meets with a maid that she had when she was a noble, and she has to explain to the maid, yo, look, I'm a bum now, I'm a broke ass now. So, you know, maybe don't be my maid. Actually, I like being a broke ass. This is a genuine, full character arc that only exists in a fucking operator record. Then you have the Istina operator record. In this one, we have Istina, which is very future-oriented. She wants to get an education. She wants to make something of herself, and she questions, is that right? You know, like, if you had the chance to reset everything and start anew, even after Peterheim, would it be correct to just take that chance on a whim? Wouldn't that be selfish for the others? Because she's like, okay, I have the chance to turn over a new leaf and start over, but what about the others, you know? So there's Istina working through that, and once again, that's like a full fucking character arc that happens in here. Then you have the Zima operator record. I want to mention this is the second operator record, because the first one was complete nothing, so in this one they had to cram so much shit in it. So basically, what happens in this operator record is that this is the conclusion, or at least somewhat of a conclusion, as much of a conclusion as Arknights can give to the Ursus students. Because so far, with Rosa, with Leto, with Istina, we've seen them making something of themselves. We've seen them moving past Peterheim. We've seen them healing. This means that the group is drifting apart more and more, because everyone has their own lives. And Zima is like, fuck, that's cringe, I don't like that, No, I want Istina to think about me for 10 years at least, you know? She does that, and she tries to cope with the fact that everyone is going their separate ways. And she fails, but then she succeeds. And by the end, she pseudo-disbands the team. And at the end, there is this little part where it's like, you know, we're gonna split apart further in the future, but we're eternal comrades. And then there's this poem at the end. This poem at the end, at least to me, is pretty clearly referring to them moving on from Peterheim, making something of their lives, that they still link their hands, sink and skip, they still eat food like normal, even in spite of what happened in Peterheim. So this pretty much put a nice little bow on the Ursus students, because Zima Alter seems to be retconning this. Not in the sense that it's erasing all of this, but in the sense that now, this poem here, the ending where it hints at a hopeful future, how many other stories end with a vague hint at a hopeful future, now it's retconned to be like, oh no, it's referring to what literally is going to happen next. Now it's referring literally to the Ursus revolution, which I don't buy. I'm sorry, I've had people try to explain this to me, that yeah, in retrospect, if you go back and look at this, it does happen to fit with the new event. But I don't buy that this was the original intention. I think this is a retcon. Because, hi, Super from the future here, tell me what is more the likely outcome here. That 4 years ago, Hypergriff wrote a vague, hopeful conclusion to a storyline that has always been self-contained, while still being vague enough to allow for something if they want to expand it in the future. And now, in the present, they thought that Zima would be cool for the October Revolution, and since this is live service writing, the ending was vague enough that now it connects without many plot holes. Or that 4 years ago, Hypergriff was playing 4D chess with this one poem in this one operator record that is hidden away, somehow referencing what was happening at the time of the release of this operator record, and hinting at the fact that this self-contained story would expand 4 years later. Which one of these seems like the most likely outcome to you? My issue with this is not that it doesn't make sense narratively, because narratively all of them have been established to have some reason to go back to Ursus. Really, it's a themes and such issue, because, as I explained, Every operator record has been slowly building up to them making their own lives and moving on from Peterheim, moving on from Ursus, doing their own things, starting over like in Istina's operator record, for example, or Rosa's operator record. And then Zima Alter's event is like, actually, you're all going back to Ursus, and also you're getting persecuted for treason. Which, while narratively sensical, like that makes sense that you can have that happen, is a 180 inversion on the themes and such established for the past 6 years. Then we have the biggest fucking culprit of all of them. We have the Gummy operator record. What the fuck is going on with this? Because I'll have you know that Gummy for 4 years now has been on an unresolved cliffhanger that now Zima Alter seems to be retconning so that it didn't happen. Gummy's parents are mentioned all the time in these operator records. They are mentioned in Gummy's, they are mentioned in Istina's operator records, I think even in Zima's they're mentioned once. Apparently, Gummy's parents have a lot of influence in Ursus. Gummy's parents apparently knew Calcit personally. And at the end of this operator record, Gummy straight up just leaves Rhodes Island to go to Ursus to look for her parents. Now, you will notice that Gummy leaving on her own to Ursus does not fit anywhere in this timeline. When chapter 15 came out and had the scene with the Ursus students, this could still fit, because, you know, it could happen sometime in the future. But now that Zima Alter is doing whatever the fuck is gonna happen in that event, they're gonna get persecuted for treason, this can't happen anymore. Which means they set up a cliffhanger in several operator records, abandoned it for 4 years, and then retconned it. I have wasted my life. This is not to say that her parents as a whole are getting retconned, just her leaving. In the PV, we see this shot of someone embracing Gummy, so that could easily be one of her parents showing up. What will have to be retconned is the cliffhanger itself. Either they retcon it, or it would lead to some pretty awkward writing. Either it happened in the past, she failed, came back, and is now departing again, or she succeeded and it was never brought up, or it happens in the distant future, and we have to concede that for some reason future Gummy does not mention the events of people at all. I have people that tell me they are excited for Zima Alter because they're like, oh, it's been so long, we're gonna see the Ursus students heal and move on from their trauma. And I can't blame these people. Like, them healing, them moving forward from Peterheim already happened in the game. It's a thing that already happened. Except that it's in operator records, so no one knows. Like me and 3 other people know about it. Because it's so hidden away. Unless you are so autistically dedicated to this faction, you wouldn't know that they've already moved on from Peterheim, that they've already healed. Except that it was said in the most poopy, stinky way imaginable, hidden away like it's a fucking Dark Souls lore, like it's the fucking FNAF books. Before we conclude the Zima Alter segment, I have one more thing to say. What the fuck is going on with her outfit? So first of all, it's like this weird combination of an old-timey Russian military outfit with a schoolgirl uniform. They replaced her pantyhose for thigh-highs, and that just doesn't look as good. But then, on top of everything, you have the usual gacha game details added on top. So for example, you have the detached sleeve here that is not actually detached because there's a metal chain connecting it. You have these little things, which are the color palettes of the Ursus students, which, cool reference, but completely jarring in the design. Why is she wearing a belt over her dress? Is she going to get added to Guilty Gear Strive? Then you have the coat. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with the coat, because you look at the fur here, and you're like, oh, she's wearing it like Kaito from Danganronpa V3, where she's wearing the coat only in one sleeve. But then you look at the sleeve, and that's not the case, because it's the same sleeve as the jacket, and then the coat sleeve is over here. Is the fur like a backpack strap? Like, can you detach the fur like a backpack strap? So, like, what? Yeah, it's like magnetic. She has like a magnet on it's her stand. Yeah, it's like a stand ability. I had someone tell me that she still looks like a 5-star in the E2. And ever since someone told me that, I'm like, fuck, that's true. That's true, though. Why does she still look like a 5-star? And that's strange, right? Because you look at the E0, she doesn't look like a 5-star here. She looks like a 6-star in the E0. But then you look at the E2 and she looks like a 5-star. That's true, Kiresuna. It's really the stand user could be anyone looking ass outfit. You know, all in all, when it comes to Zima Alter's outfit, she's still better dressed than Wishadel. Hi, welcome to the outro. Man, that eye patch wolf video for Shenmue 3 is iconic, isn't it? Anyway, thank you to the members, in particular Bin Raditz, Camilo Wishadel, Bart2x, Noel Runes, Davante Glass Photo, Ritter King, Ascended As, Nemotic, Runner Slink, The Long Chef, Gingy Zentuna, Vinco Ching, Ilio, Living Chat, Creon Box, Efram, URL Killer, Divius, Kino, Bomb Ninja, Apollo T. QX102, Mr. Laird, Reman Raptor, 1K, Nerfroff, Zephyrinix, Snoopop, Prancing Peppers, Sergio Alvarez, Kevin McGuire, I Antonio 3, Sebby Stum, Sankenshi, Chromaljan, 5QTZK, Junosuke Shipper, Selfer 7, Come On Here, and Larmendra, Yuvune, King of Harems, and the guy with 2 names. Bye bye, see you when the event releases so I can make a video on Zima in the gameplay. Spoiler, she's a nasty upscale.